Hi everyone. In just a few hours we have the total lunar eclipse, and visible here in the Americas and also in Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific area. And those on the west coast will be able to see the full lunar eclipse, and on the east coast partial. But it's not tomorrow night, it's tomorrow morning early. So well worth getting up and basking in the energies of this particular lunar eclipse, because it is powerful. It's a powerful vortex. And excuse the background noise, that's my son. He's happily watching Winnie the Pooh, hopefully until I can get this particular video done. I'm struggling to get this video done. And also I've got the distractions of my dog Bijou in the background. So I want to give you a little story about an eclipse incident that I experienced a couple days ago that show you how eclipse can work. And then I'll go into more detail. So I lost my address book that I've been carrying around with me for a couple of decades. And, it lost its cover, but I really liked it. It had a lot of good energy, a lot of secure energy. I had everybody, if I needed anything, it was in that book. The reason I was looking for it is I needed my daughter's social security number, and that was in the book. And the phone numbers that I use sometimes frequently but can't remember in my mind anymore just off the top of my head. And so I was really frustrated that it just had disappeared, and after hours of looking for it, I decided it was probably gone. My suspicion is my son Damien may have thrown it out, and it really is gone, although I'll be happy if I find it again, but not really after what I'm about to tell you, actually, because at first I was sad, a little panic-stricken, a little anxious. It's sort of like losing your wallet with everything in it. And then I sort of calmed myself down. In a couple minutes, I was going, whoa, this is so cool. I am starting with a clean slate. My past is gone. I don't have to be accountable or worry about anything that's not meaningful to me now. Anything that's worth and meaningful to me now is here, and I can carry it forward. And I can reconstruct with a brand new address book. But in the meantime, there was something about wiping the slate clean of the past that was incredibly liberating, brought a lot of freedom, very exhilarating. And it wasn't that, my past was bad and I just wanted to forget it or wipe it from my history, but I was apparently sort of carrying around the past in a way that was inappropriate and dissonant enough with my energy now that by releasing it and just having it disappear symbolically in the form of that address book, I felt liberated. I felt like, whew, I'm free. The past, it's off. So really emotionally significant, even if it's a simple and subtle thing. And I've had some other things going on too, and it all surprised me, because even though this is a powerful enough eclipse that I would say we all feel it, whether it affects our natal chart or is transiting directly our natal chart or not, I have still been surprised with the intensity, because it doesn't really aspect anything in my natal chart. And I'm going, So I decided to look at my progressions in solar arc. And what I noticed is that the solar arc angle that is the cusp of my house of relationships is exactly at the degree of this full moon, 14 Libra. So there it is, and that theme is a big one for this eclipse season. Relationships continues to be. There's other things too, but Aries and Libra are the north node and the south node, and Aries is me and Libra is you, and it's the polarity of me and the other relationships. It's the polarity of relationships. And eclipses are always connected with the nodes. What the nodes are is they're actually just points in space where the moon in its orbit crosses the ecliptic. And it does this a couple times a month. So you have two nodes. And in astrology, we call it, in Western astrology, the south node and the north node. These are points in space, and every planetary body has a south node and a north node, and they are significant. But the moon's nodes are tied in with our past and our karma. So they have to do with our lineage. They have to do through our mother and mothering and nurturing and our emotions. But they have to do with our past and past lives as well. So the South Node is what we bring in with us when we're born from our past journeys, and they can be our gifts and our skills that we've cultivated and our strengths, and also our karma and our weaknesses. So we come in with the South Node stuff. As every parent knows, no child is actually a blank slate. And then the North Node is where we're learning our lessons, where we're being stretched in this lifetime. And it's a stretch, and we die stretching towards that North Node. But with astrology, we're always dealing with the polarities of the two ends. It's a dualistic system. And it's not about this good, this bad, focus on this, focus on that. But it's about always working with the two in tandem and bringing them into an integrative whole point of unity. So, and wholeness and health, where both sides of the equation are balanced and factored in. And so, why did I bring all that up? Relationships. So this eclipse pattern, eclipses have to do with the nodes, because whenever the moon is close to a node, then you have an eclipse. And so they're connected. And so eclipses have a very karmic feel about them anyway. And new moons and full moons are very emotional times, because it really is bringing in the moon energy as it's working with the sun energy. And it involves the nodes, with the eclipses, which is our past. And these are lunar nodes. So when we have a full moon, total lunar eclipse, it's going to be a very emotional event in and of itself. And then this particular one happens to be triggering and involving the Pluto-Uranus square. Pluto actually squaring the nodes and the moon, and Uranus on the South Node. So this is upping the ante on the intensity of the emotions of this eclipse. And quite profoundly, if somebody was born under this eclipse, they would have this very, very tight and strong Pluto square moon, Pluto on the North Node, moon on the North Node, with the sun next to the South Node and Uranus and Pluto square. And oh my God, they would be gentle souls, but they would be intense. And it's kind of an interesting energy, because on the one hand, gone bad, it could be very controlling and dictatorial and intense in a negative way. I wrote something down. I was trying to remember. Codependent. Yeah, it could be with that moon in Libra on the North Node on going awry, or it can also be energies that bring a lot of depression. And we can feel this with this eclipse. The state of the world is in such flux and transformation. And this eclipse, people have been using this word crossroads. It really is signifying a crossroads of our karmic predicament collectively, and it looks pretty bad if somebody's actually looking at the reality of the world, and it can be very depressing, and people can be losing hope. But the way I'm viewing this eclipse from a more mystical perspective is it's opening the portal for bringing the hope and the dreams and the visions back in. But it is requiring us to, one, be sure and firm in our level of self-confidence, because we have Mercury trining Jupiter during this period too, and Jupiter's in Leo retrograde, and there's a lot of fire in this chart. So in order to move through this portal that the eclipse is symbolizing for us, we have to be self-confident, and we have to know what our dreams and visions and goals are. So I want to look at the chart here and just kind of remind myself of what I'm looking at relative to the degrees and everything. So the insecurity and the anxiety is there, and yet what we can do during this period is we can move through that and see what's underneath that. And what's underneath that is what I feel is the gift of this particular eclipse portal, which is the optimism and the hope that comes with the self-confidence that enables us to make commitments. Because, again, if I were looking at a baby's chart of this born on this eclipse, all that Aries South Node stuff with the Sun and Mercury and Uranus all in Aries on the South Node, this is not somebody who likes to mix and mingle a lot. This is a real lone wolf energy, no doubt about it. And yet the moon, the emotional body, is pulling towards, but we need to get back into relationship with others and working in a cooperative but non-codependent, fair and just way that brings balance back to the me and you, not just all me, not just all you, but me and you, my needs and your needs. Who am I? Who are you? How do we work it together in a balanced way that's fair, that's equal, that's just? And yet Pluto up there is squaring all of this. So and Pluto and Uranus are playing this dance with the nodes in these Aries Libra sign now for a while. This is nothing new. It's been going on, the nodes stay in a sign for about 18 months. And 18 months is a very esoterically and connected in with the physical fractal geometry of numbers and life itself. 18 months is a really important time period. So, for example, interestingly, synchronistically, I just was listening to Cliff High this morning. He was talking about some of the tonics that we old people, he's my age, 60, the tonics we can use to help assist with the aging, that everyone goes through. And what he points out is that, especially with allopathic drug medications, one should never take them for more than 18 months because they really start wearing down the body. So, this lifelong dependency on drugs is not good. Now, I don't know if he's right or he's not, but it's interesting that he brought in that 18-month thing. I know, I'm rambling and I digress. But the 18 months is how long it takes for the nodes to go through, a set of signs. So right now we're midway through the Aries Libra journey, and Pluto and Uranus, this catapult of change, and Pluto tearing down the old structures and conditioning and belief patterns, which are really up. The beliefs are really up for re-examination here with Saturn going into Sag. But it's not just tearing down the old, it's a building up the new. And then Uranus is just the need to break away from the old that's not working, and the individuation process that I've been talking about. So I've lost track. What was I talking about? Let me look at the chart here. So the overall sense that I'm feeling when I look at the chart of this eclipse is that it begins with believing in ourselves. That's the South Node in Aries, Jupiter in Leo, and other things. Our visions and our dreams. I mean, I'm not ignoring not only the Sag and the Leo creative and beliefs, but also the visions and dreams that come through the heavy Pisces, Neptune, Chiron energy that is always in the background. And in each way, in our own way, we are each then really contributing powerfully to this collective shift of consciousness that we're going through. And even though things might feel like I can feel a lot of fear and anxiety and insecurity out there. It's what makes people try to control and try and push their beliefs and freak out if everybody's not doing it their way and all of this. It's all fear. But what brings that, this is part of the process. When I get insecure, I really sit with it and honor it and feel it and go as deep down into it as I can. And then I see what's even underneath that. And usually it's the liberation. So underneath the fear is the hope. But the hope demands commitment. And the commitment can only really have the strength it needs from belief in oneself and the confidence. So all of these issues are up on an individual level for different people in different ways. Not everybody's being influenced, this is not reflecting everybody's experience, but it's reflecting many people's experience. So we have the full moon and the total lunar eclipse on the 4th, early in the morning. Then on the 5th, which is Sunday, Mercury is conjunct the south node at 10 degrees Libra, and the sun is square Pluto at 15 degrees. So that's a lot of dynamic energy that's sparking the whole pattern. And then on Monday, the 6th, the sun moves to conjuncting Uranus at 16 Aries. And then that's the day that Mercury at 12 Aries is trining the Jupiter in Leo retrograde at 12 degrees. And then on Tuesday, Mercury is conjunct Uranus at 16 degrees, so there's a lot of sparky electrical energy there. And then after that, we've got the moon has moved up to conjuncting Pluto and squaring Uranus on the 11th, which is quite a ways away, but you can see that even just between the 4th and the 8th, if you just look at the chart there that I'll put up on the screen, you've got the full moon eclipse, and then Mercury on the south node, and then the sun square Pluto, and then the sun conjunct Uranus, and then, in conjunction with the trine, Mercury squaring Pluto and conjuncting Uranus, and so on. So all of this very fast, Uranian, sparky, fiery energy doesn't really stop for 4 days. Now, the other thing is, this is all cardinal energy. And we have cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And cardinal is what begins the season, fixed is what sustains, and then mutable is what shifts things up to change to get ready for the next season. So cardinal energy initiates. It's rather aggressive because it gets things going. It's like the person that goes, let's just do it, let's just go. It's the leader energy, and it's the do and then think. And it's a very protective. It's like just very proactive. So it initiates, and the 4 cardinal signs all have this quality. So, and the cardinal signs are Aries and Libra, where the eclipse is, and the full moon and the nodes, and Capricorn and Cancer. So we don't actually have anything down there in Cancer right now, but we have Pluto up in Capricorn making this T-squared to the nodes. So the cardinal energy is initiating a whole with a lot of energy, the changes that have to be made. So where is this happening in your life? If you have anything in the mid degrees of the cardinal signs, then there's a lot up for you. Within 2 degrees, say of 14.5, or perhaps 12 or 13 to 15, 16, something like that, is there's so much dynamic energy. And the midpoints of any sign are fairly stable. It's not the beginning, it's not the end, it's where things are pretty settled and just really going. And this cardinal initiation. So for example, Aries is aggressive fire, and Libra is aggressive air, and Capricorn's aggressive earth, and Cancer's aggressive water. So it's a lot of forward-moving energy that just has to start things, let's just get things going, and let's do what's right, and let's do what's fair, and let's make the changes, and let's create the new systems we need to create, and so on and so forth. Pluto in a T-square with the nodes right now is accentuating. Again, this is ongoing energy, but there's a certain exclamation point to it with this eclipse. The whole idea of skip steps in a way. It's like, okay, what's not working? What do we have to look at where we're going too fast, or where we're out of integrity, or where the ends are justifying the means, and we're not, working this Pluto Capricorn energy in a high level way, which happens all the time. It's like, how do we get to where we want to get and stay within the rules of fairness and justice and what's really, really workable for everybody and what, everyone agrees on. And, there's a lot of themes coming up. For me, the two big themes that I'm seeing when I look at this chart is, first of all, with the moon on the North Node, we're really looking at how we're all needing to reconnect on a heart level with our feelings to the mother nurturing, caring energy, which includes Mother Earth. So, that's really up. Where have we been out of integrity? Where do we need to go back? Because with cardinal energy, there's so much push that we sometimes have to 2 steps forward, 1 step back, retrace. I'm getting distracted because I'm wondering what my dog is destroying behind me. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We need to pull back because we just can't just keep going. So the whole collaboration with the mother is big, and that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. But there's also this warrior Aries energy, which is the energy of war. And right now, the planet is at war. It's not that human beings are any different than they've ever been, but never before has the entire planet just been involved in the industry of war, which, really feels to me like America's leading the way there. And it just has to stop. Between that and the way we're treating the mother planet, it's just crazy. So this, those are just 2 big examples, and there's so many ways that the interpretations can be applicable to our individual lives, and so many different layers and meanings to all of this. But something's shifting. Something has to shift. And I'm optimistic because I feel like whenever you have a T-square, it forces the change because it's difficult, it's challenging, but it's in our face. And therefore, like, for example, when somebody is born with an aspect in this natal chart and they have to live with this energy their whole life, it's not always easy. There's always the challenges in their face, but what it does is it makes them incredibly productive because they can't ignore it. It's not like a trine or a sextile where you can kind of slide by and just sort of pretend it's not there, or things come easy, or you just don't do it. With squares, you have to take on the challenge, and therefore the results happen. So that's great. And then the polarity opposite of the Pluto and Capricorn is Cancer. So, and this is an eclipse with the moon, the full moon, and a total lunar eclipse. And so our emotional component here is huge, and it's also the stabilizing point. Whenever you have a T-square, it's like a 3-legged table, and you have to look at that 4th leg spot, even if there's not a planet there, to find the stability for the 4 legs to hold the table solid. And that's the emotional body. So the feelings that we're all feeling, whether it's the despair or the hope, whether it's the depression or the commitment, whether it's the disillusionment or the dreams and visions, it all works together towards the process of change. And what else can I say about these energies? So I guess I'll probably close on that note. I'm going on and on here. But one other thought I had as I was looking at this is, on a more individual level, what could be up for a lot of people is work. Like satisfaction with work. Am I satisfied with work? Is it in alignment with my goals and visions? Does it make me happy? Is my life worth living? Because of the work I'm doing. And if the satisfaction with work isn't there, what insecurities are stopping me? And working with the insecurities and bringing in the confidence needed to make the changes. Because this is this is a very creative time also. So hopefully you can feel the excitement. It's a mixed bag, and it's a very intense and complex picture, but it's exciting, it's powerful, and things are going to happen. So if this eclipse is aspecting something in your natal chart, or possibly your progressed planets or angles, then you're feeling it, and it's a really exciting time, because you wanted the change, you wanted the new, you wanted the empowerment, you wanted the confidence, you wanted the renewed hope and commitment to the visions and goals. This is the time to pull it in. This is time to walk through that doorway. And so sit with all these ideas with this beautiful total lunar eclipse. And happy Easter. As you all know, Easter is always the first Sunday after the first full moon after the vernal equinox. So Easter's calculated on the lunar calendar. Cool, huh? And I'm also noticing that my natural sunlight is going behind the mountains, and I'll be dark here pretty soon. So peace and love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.